In this beautiful composition, white plays and the goal is to deliver checkmate. It's much harder than it looks. So pause the video and see if you can calculate the checkmate for white on your own. The first idea that jumps out is the only good check available. King takes b3, taking advantage of the queen's alignment with the enemy king for this nice discovered check. It looks promising after all. We even have queen to a2 check in the sequence, but after king to c1, we have nothing. The checkmate on the c2 square is completely guarded. We have some checks to continue the attack here. However, none of them actually lead to the checkmate we were looking for. Returning to the starting position, you'll see the move isn't a check since queen to f6 and queen to f1 are very well guarded. Here, some ideas come to mind. For example, queen to the c4 square looks winning. You threaten queen to c1 checkmate, and you also threaten queen to the c3 square, which will lead to checkmate. And the opponent can't defend by pushing the pawn, which defends both queen c3 and queen to c1, but ends up allowing queen to a2 mate. But it turns out that here the opponent, of course, will play the move queen to the c2 square. What you might have calculated is that white, of course, will now invade on the f1 square. There's no way for the black player to keep an eye on all the checks. But after queen to f1 and queen to the b1 square, white doesn't have a winning sequence. We can give a check along this diagonal by playing queen to f6, but the opponent defends with the pawn on b2, and suddenly you realize white will end up losing. King to b3 is a good try, but the opponent gives a check, soon forcing a queen trade, and this sequence isn't winning. The sequence that actually wins the game is very similar. We're going to play queen to e2, and the idea is more or less the same. You want queen b2 mate, you want queen d1 mate. The opponent's defensive idea is also the same with queen to the c2 square, but now comes the difference. You're not going to give the check on f1, you'll give the check on e1, which makes all the difference in this sequence, because after queen to b1, we have queen to c3 check, forcing the b2 push, and instead of king b3, which allows opponent checks to mate on the a file, you'll play queen b3. And now the opponent is in a beautiful zugzwang. If he moves the queen, queen to a2 is checkmate. And he basically has no moves other than pawn to c4 to try and delay the sequence. You take still threatening queen to a2 mate. He can, of course, give up the queen with a check, promote to a knight, taking advantage of the check to try and escape the attack. If the opponent promotes to a queen here, you could play queen to c3 and mate on the next move. So he promotes to a knight, taking advantage of the check, but after king b3, it's over. He basically needs to give up the knight here. You can play queen to a6, and after king b1, queen to f1 is a beautiful checkmate. Subscribe to the channel for more beautiful compositions like this one.